Hello, this is JT Halden again, Halden Marine Service. It's kind of a continuation if you haven't seen our other video on the coils for the freshwater flush and the product diversion valve coils. You might want to take a quick look at that, kind of help explain what I'm going to be talking about a little quicker and you'll understand it. But basically, what we want to do, one of the most important things, especially on a fully automatic system, is setting this freshwater flush up properly. There's a lot of people that just don't do this, and it is, if you ask me, the single most important thing on an automated system is the auto flush. Okay, that must work properly. The rest is just bells and whistles on systems like this. This is a very critical issue that I harp on all the time online. People that know me, this is one of my big pet peeves. Freshwater flush is never properly set up. This is where you'll get into a lot of biofouling of your membranes or your whole system because it's not flushed. It doesn't matter. It says on your system, somebody tells you, oh, I only need to flush it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It means nothing. Okay, it's not the amount of time, it's the amount of water we need to get through your system to properly flush it. And the only way to find that out is if at the very end of your flush, taking a sample of your brine discharge going overboard. Okay. You want to read it with your handheld test meter, TDS meter, that needs to be at 1,000 parts per million or below. If it's not, we've got to fix it. A lot of times it has to do with timing of the feed pump motor, okay, and also the house pressure pump. So just because your neighbor's got his set up for 3 minutes, that doesn't mean a thing to you. Give me the same identical boat, same identical water maker, there's going to be 2 calibrations on this. Okay, it's just a matter of his pump may be different than yours, your installation might be different, adding more or less plumbing to it. So we want to do every one of these on an individual basis. So if you go back to the other video where we were talking about the coils, we have some problems with this particular coil failing once it gets too hot. In fact, if you saw when we did this on the video, I had energized it for about, a minute or two. I handed it to Miss Stacy, she goes, oh, that's hot. Exactly right. These get very, very hot. Okay, and this, as in the previous video, we used to use the 14-watt coil. Now we're using these 10-watt coils. That 4-watt makes all the difference in the world, and we have a lot of failures with this, and this is extremely important, especially if you have a larger water maker with 3 membranes. You biofoul and lose the coil, and you biofoul the 3 membranes out, plus $1,000 to replace it. So what I suggest we do is different. This is a Halden Marine Service fix, and it's worked beautiful from this point forward. What we're going to do, okay, this is the manifold, okay, and this is a standard NewPort 400, okay. I'm going to kind of just turn it for a second. You can see this manifold right here. This manifold, where this coil sits right in the back, it's kind of flush in there, and these are all the plumbing connections to it. And if you notice, it says from flush module. Okay, this is your flush module, basically your charcoal, sorry, my hand's in the way, your charcoal filter housing. This is what it should look like. Okay, so what we're going to do to make this work even better, okay, and so it gives you a much, much better flush and positive flush, is we're going to remove this coil altogether. This 10-watt coil that overheats and fails. Okay, we take this off. We're just going to snip the wires, get rid of it. The fastest way to do this is open up the plunger tube. There's the take out the plunger, reinsert the tube. Okay, so when I have my water from my freshwater flush coming in, it goes right into this line, right to here, just goes through here and right back out here to flush the system. Okay, so this is the easiest way. Take this completely out, okay, and put it back in there. Let me show you the inside a little bit. Might make it a little better to understand. Got everything loose, so it's quick. We can move through this video quickly. Okay. If I don't, can you see in there, Miss Stacy?
Yeah.
This is your coil right here. The same coil this is. This is the coil. This is what we will remove from the top of that manifold. Remove the plunger and reinsert it. Okay. So the coil now is cut and loose. You're still going to have 2 wires hanging out. Okay, because you cut it right here. The 2 wires coming from the board, the control board, is what we're after. Okay, so let me put this back together. So just give you an example of what that is. And usually on your 400s, okay, your 340s and 300s, 700s, and 1000s, most of these coils will be inside the manifold on the newer units. Our older units, some of them are on the outside, some of them are on the charcoal filter housing itself. But this is what we're going to do. We have just created a free flow through this system. And one of the things I do want to show you, I think I did this on the previous video. Stacy, can you see right in the middle of that really good?
Oh, yeah.
See those little holes?
Yep.
Those holes aren't much bigger than the diameter of an ink pen cartridge. It may be even smaller. So that's a restrictive flow right there. But with what we're going to do, it's going to flow 3 times faster anyways. Okay? And there's this other solution, what we could possibly do on the bigger units like the 700s and 1000s, usually what I'll do, this again comes from your charcoal filter into here. Instead of pushing this in here, these are just 2 John Guest fittings. We'll take both of these hoses out. We want to save this hose. This is for our pickling. And we'll just basically splice these 2 together. Just remove it all together. And now we're using a 3/8 inch line instead of those small hose. We have even less restriction. But today's pumps are pretty potent. So I don't think we have to do that unless you need to. Okay, so here's the trick to this. Again, these 10-watt coils are just not up to the job. So we sell here at Halden Marine Service our own kit to make this flush even better. If you remember in our previous video, we were talking the difference between the 14-watt and the 10-watt coils. This thing just gets super hot because it's a coil. This is not a coil. What we're going to do is put a ball actuated valve on this. It's not a coil, it's a little motor in there. And this only requires 5 watts. So we're hooking this directly to the expensive board in here, but this board is designed to handle 14 watts and send 1420 watts. Okay, so 5 watts is no drain. It's actually a lot easier on the board electronically, and these never get hot. They'll sit open for days on end until you want it to close. So what we're going to do, as I said, we're going to trim that wire after we pull the plunger. Take these 2 wires. Let me see if I can use it just for example. Let's say these are the 2 wires we're going to trim to. Okay, these are going to be control wires. And when you get our kit, there's going to be already a couple of butt splices on there. All you'll need to do is take that wire, trim it down, plug it into the butt splice. Okay? And now you're hooked to the control board. Okay. Now, this is how we plumb this together with our charcoal filter. With the new coil, okay, we're going to also give you a little kit. It's got all the fittings in here that's going to take to do this, and it's also designed for either intake for a 1/2 inch braided hose to your charcoal filter or a 15 millimeter PEX. We're seeing an awful lot of 15 mil PEX these days. So you'll have both of those fittings, okay, and it comes in the kit. So what I'm going to do is real quickly show you what we want to do. Okay, first of all, is toothpicks. Let's go to the output side first. Okay, if you see this little chrome piece right here, and it's on your Watermaker anywhere, it's going to be on the freshwater flush side, we want to get rid of it. So we're just going to take it, like I say, we have made everything loose, take just this off, so it's like this, and then come right into the same fitting, and we're going to pull this out, and then we're just going to take this little new Teflon tape. I like the Blue Monster, it's my new favorite Teflon tape. Put this right back on, and you're plumbed to the output now, to your raw water strainer. What's this? See a little green restrictor valve in there. Sorry. Oh.
You're good.
We good?
Yeah.
This is nothing but what you'll see in your kitchen faucet. The little piece, the metal piece that you unscrew, that green piece in there is a restrictor. So we've got restriction here, we've got restriction here. We're not getting a really good flow of water. And this is where a lot of our freshwater flush problems come in. These people say, oh, it says flush it for 5 minutes. We flush it for 5 minutes and it's just not flushed properly. We need to get that membrane, the brine discharge water over the membrane down to 1,000 parts per million or below. This setup is going to do it far, far better, and it's going to be very reliable for a very long time. So this is gone altogether on any water maker you find. So now we're going to look at, that's in the output side of our charcoal filter. Our input side usually comes here with a little valve. Now if you remember, I also said if for some reason you're offshore, an emergency, and it's not flushing properly, just pull this plunger out. That's all you need to do. Close this valve off, and when it comes to the freshwater flush, run your water maker several hours. Now we got to flush it. Just hit the freshwater flush on your control panel and come down here and open that valve. Now remember, at the end of your flush, come back and close that valve as well. That gets an emergency freshwater flush. You don't close it, you're going to drain your freshwater tanks completely with your house pressure pump. So, but we're going to eliminate this altogether. on the intake line to that, there should be a shut-off valve anyways if this ever burst or there's any plumbing issues, so you can turn that water off so we don't flood the bilge. So what we're going to do to start this, we have our kit. It's going to get stuff out of our way. Okay. We're going to unscrew this fitting. This is the little valve. That's out. Okay. We're not going to use it, so set that aside. Take this fitting out, the input fitting, and we're going to give you all the fittings you're going to need to put this together. One thing I would want to mention on this fitting, it goes in 3/4 fitting. You might see it. It's in this bag. Thank you, sir. Is that good? This is loaded up with Teflon tape. We're going to send it to you. Every one of the fittings are going to have the right amount of Teflon tape. This one in particular, this is a foreign-built head for this canister. I happen to like this. It makes it a lot easier to open and close these, especially on your 5 and 20 micron filters. All hand tight practically. Not hand tight on your charcoal, usually just a little extra tightness because it is under constant pressure. But this is just going to basically, first we'll thread this in right here. Okay. Now we have the other fitting. It's going to thread into here first. Okay. It's going to be similar to that. So I'm just going to kind of get it started. Like I said, just so you see the looks. It's really simple and self-explanatory when you get it. Okay. So that's going to thread all the way in where you have it nice and tight and sealed. Now we come to our ball valve. This is what we're going to start our new freshwater flushing with. And we're just going to thread this on. Really simple to do, and basically we'll turn it down to the side, something similar to this, and it'll just hang on the side of this thing, and it'll be quite firm and steady. There's nothing wrong. This isn't that heavy. All good quality stainless steel. That's extremely important. Once that's on, we'll determine whether our intake line is either 15 mil PEX, that's the blue pipe, or 1/2 inch braided hose. We'll give you a fitting for either one. It'll sit right in here for 1/2 inch hose, or the fitting again for the 15 mil PEX. Put all that together and your plumbing is complete. Okay. Then you're just going to take the 2 wires that you've cut off here and removed the coil from, take the other 2 into the wires and just basically splice them together. That's it, and you're done. There'll be a little heat shrink in there if you need it. Can we stop? Turn that off? Sorry.